While every Formula One driver is resting between races, Max Verstappen is heading to Germany. Not for a holiday, not for a sponsor event. For 24 hours of pure, unfiltered racing hell. The Nürburgring Nordschleife, the most brutal, unforgiving racetrack ever built by human hands, is calling. And Max Verstappen answered before anyone even finished asking. But here is the question that nobody in the paddock can stop thinking about. Is this a man who simply loves racing? Or is this a champion quietly preparing for a future that has nothing to do with Formula One? Because while Red Bull burns, while Ford watches, while Ferrari and Mercedes circle like hawks, Max Verstappen is doing exactly what he wants. On his own terms. In somebody else's car. And that tells you everything. Let's set the scene properly. May 14th, qualifying begins at the Nürburgring Nordschleife. May 16th, the full 24-hour race fires into life. Max Verstappen will be behind the wheel of a Mercedes-AMG GT3, alongside Danny Juncadella, Jules Gounon, and Lucas Auer. A stacked lineup. A serious operation. This is not a publicity stunt. This is a racing driver feeding something that Formula One in 2026 simply cannot give him anymore. But that was just the start. Because days before the Nürburgring, Max flew to Japan. He climbed inside a 650 horsepower Nissan GT 500 Super GT car, a machine he had never touched before in his life. He had one installation lap.
142.290. Unbelievable.
One single lap to understand the car, the balance, the limits. And then he went out and destroyed the benchmark lap time set by the professional Super GT driver. One lap. That is all he needed. Think about what that means. This is not just talent. This is not just preparation. This is a man operating at a level that exists almost entirely outside the boundaries of normal human ability. Because what happened next raised even bigger questions. Max Verstappen is racing a Mercedes GT3 at the Nürburgring, while his Formula One team Red Bull runs Ford engine. Ford is watching their contracted driver spend his free weekends promoting their biggest rival brand on one of motorsport's biggest global stages. And this is where the story gets genuinely complicated. Ford performance boss Mark Rushbrook stepped forward and admitted publicly, without any diplomatic softening, that he would rather see Max Verstappen in a Ford Mustang GT3 than a Mercedes. Then Juan Pablo Montoya went further. He said if he were running Ford, he would be putting serious pressure on Max to stop driving for Mercedes altogether. Simple enough, right? Ford wants Max in their car. Problem identified. Solution obvious. But then came the twist that changed the entire conversation. Ford has confirmed they are already in active discussions with Verstappen about a future hypercar program. Not just GT3, not just weekend fun. Le Mans, the greatest endurance race on Earth. The one trophy that sits on no current F1 driver's shelf. Rushbrook confirmed it directly. They love Max as a person and as a driver, and they want him in a Ford in the sports car world. The talks are real. The ambition is real. So suddenly, the Nürburgring weekend is not just a racing adventure. It is a statement of intent from a man who may already be writing the next chapter of his career. And then Mark Webber said something that stopped the entire paddock cold. The former Red Bull driver, speaking to Racing News 365, did not hold back. He said clearly, "People switch on the TV because of Max Verstappen. Liberty know that. Teams know that. He's important." But Webber went further than simple praise. He acknowledged directly that Verstappen had contemplated leaving Formula One after the 2026 season, a statement made publicly by Max himself following the Japanese Grand Prix. And Webber's response to that was not panic. It was respect. "He's earned the right to make choices," Webber said. "He's got an immense trophy cabinet. He's delivered year in, year out, and that gives him choices." Read that again slowly. One of the most respected voices in Formula One just told the world, Max Verstappen has earned the right to walk away on his own terms, on his own timeline, to do exactly what he wants. And right now, what he wants is the Nürburgring. Le Mans, cars that respond to a driver instead of punishing them. Because in 2026, Max has been brutally honest about the new regulations. After Miami, he told assembled media, "You still need to go a bit slower in places to go faster. It's still not how I would like to see it. It's still punishing you." A four-time world champion, The most naturally gifted racing driver on the planet is being punished by his own car. That sentence alone explains everything happening right now. So what does all of this actually mean? First layer, the driver. Max Verstappen is not quietly suffering. He is loudly, publicly, unapologetically building an alternative world. The Nürburgring, the Super GT test, the Ford Le Mans conversations. Every single move is a message. Second layer, the championship. After 4 races, Australia, China, Japan, Miami, Verstappen sits 7th with just 26 points. No wins. No podiums. The man who dominated Formula One for 4 consecutive years is currently being outscored by a 19-year-old rookie. Red Bull arrived in Miami with a sweeping upgrade. Front wing, floor, side pods, brake ducts, diffuser, rear wing, steering rack, all changed simultaneously. It worked enough for a 5th place, but they are still carrying 7 kilograms of excess weight, potentially bleeding 0.2 of a second every single lap. Over a race distance at Montreal or Silverstone, that is not just lost positions. That is lost championships. That is lost futures. Third layer, the danger ahead. Webber's warning was not just about emotion. Formula One without Max Verstappen loses something that cannot be manufactured, cannot be marketed, and cannot be replaced. The sport knows it. Liberty Media knows it. And right now, nobody has a solution. This was not just a racing weekend. It was a warning. So where does this road actually lead? Scenario 1. Red Bull fixes the weight, fixes the car, Canada delivers a podium, and Max Verstappen stays. The storm passes. The dynasty holds. And the Nürburgring becomes nothing more than a great story about how much he loves racing. Scenario 2. The Ford conversations accelerate. Le Mans becomes the target. Max sees out his Red Bull contract, collects his check, and then disappears into endurance racing, where there are no battery deployment limits, no politics, no restrictions. Just pure speed. Scenario 3. Formula One blinks first. The regulations shift further. The cars become what Max needs them to be. And Verstappen, motivated, unleashed, and angrier than ever, reminds every team on the grid exactly why Mark Webber said the sport needs him. Because dynasties do not fall slowly. They fall the moment the greatest driver alive stops believing the fight is worth having. Is Max Verstappen still racing for Formula One? Or is he already racing past it? Can Red Bull give him a reason to stay before the summer break forces a decision that cannot be undone? And if the man who made an entire era of this sport his own eventually walks away to Le Mans, does Formula One deserve to call itself the pinnacle of motorsport anymore? One thing is certain, the Nürburgring this weekend is not just a race. It is a reminder of exactly who Max Verstappen is, what he values, and what he is willing to do when Formula One stops being enough. The clock is ticking, and Max is already in the car.